Is your TDI leaking diesel? Mine is. So I don't know if you can see it right now, but I have got diesel that is dripping out of this front right corner. So first thing is we'll pop the cover off and get a better look. Full disclosure, off camera, I did figure out where this is coming from, I think. But this all started with a little bit of a diesel smell. I had gotten under here and looked a while back, and I couldn't trace it exactly. But there, down in here, I could see a little bit of residue, although it didn't seem like it was that bad. And since then, it has gotten much worse. So let me start it real quick just to show you how bad it's gotten. So I don't know if you can see this. You might not even be able to hear me now. But right there, right back in there, it is dripping fuel. All right, let's shut that back off. So in researching this, one of the common areas that people listed as being the problem was, I think, this fuel hose right here. However, when I inspected this, I did not see any major wet spots or cracks or leaks in this hose. Of course, the fuel filter is here and all the lines associated with it. None of these seem like they're leaking. So what I believe is the problem here is the auxiliary fuel pump. So if you didn't know it, there is a fuel pump right here that pulls fuel forward and pushes it into the mechanical high pressure fuel pump that's driven from the engine. This is an electric pump, and I don't think it showed very well in the video, but there is definitely leaking going on from there. Doesn't seem like it's coming from either end, so I think it's actually coming from the pump body itself. So I need to get that out of there. First step is getting the washer fluid fill thing loose here, and then there are a couple of triple square bolts down here that I need to undo, and then a couple of fuel lines, and then hopefully at that point the fuel pump and the cage that it's in should come out of here. So I'm going to work on getting this removed. Then once this is removed, I've got a brand new pump. So just a pretty standard looking fuel pump. So actually, I can show you a little better on the new pump. I think in here in this crimped area is where the leak is on the old pump. It's hard to tell for sure because of the cage and all of the lines that are in here, but I think that's where it was coming from. There is a good drip, and a couple other things that have gone along with this. Right underneath here is one of the motor mounts, and I learned something that I guess I didn't fully know before or realize. Diesel fuel will eat a lot of rubber parts. So the wonderful leak has gotten down there into my motor mount and totally destroyed that. These are just a couple of the pieces I fished out of there. So I've got that problem. And then in the last couple of days, the engine started running really rough. It's shaking like a 1970s semi-truck, and I think that's because the pump's leaking and getting air into the fuel system. The other thing that this has been doing for a long time that I believe is also a symptom of this issue is that it's been hard to start frequently when you drive the car and shut it off and you come back to start it and the car is still hot or still warm. It won't always start immediately. It's like there's air in the system, air in the fuel system, so that would make sense. If fuel's leaking out, air is leaking in, and hopefully causing it to run rough and not start right and all of that. So hopefully all of this will take care of that problem. So I guess I'll get started. Okay, so I was just about to take the fuel lines off. Everything is unbolted now, and I noticed, let's see if you can see it, this front part of the pump right here, you can see that. You see it move? So it looks like this fitting has just worked itself loose. So I guess I'm going to try to tighten this up and then see if it keeps leaking, because I might not even need the new pump, which would be nice. It wasn't that crazy expensive, but it was still like $70. So let's tighten that up and see if that fixes the problem. Okay, well, turns out that I guess I was mistaken. I don't think it was the fitting that was spinning in the pump. I think the whole pump was spinning in the cage or the housing that was in there. I also couldn't get this line to let go here from the fitting, so I ended up unscrewing that for now to get the old pump out. Old pump, new pump. And then one other thing in the process, one of these stupid little spring clips for the rear hose there ended up breaking when I was trying to remove it. So I'm going to have to find another hose clamp to stick on there and then get that other one off that I just showed you. And then once that's done, the new pump will basically be ready to reinstall. So halfway there. Okie dokie, well, it's all back together again here. I did run into a couple more issues, mostly with these stupid little spring clamps that get wore out. I did not think to order any more of those, and to get the one off the front of the pump here, which now you can't really see, I ended up having to cut that, so I put a screw down style hose clamp on that, and same thing for the, which you also can't see, same thing for the rear of the pump here. I had to put a new hose clamp on that because the other one broke off when I tried to remove it. So everything's reattached and reconnected, so now I just need to give it a try and see if it's still leaking and see if that improved the really rough running that I was getting. So let's give it a shot. And I should get the computer and prime this because I had the fuel lines off, but we're just going to crank it and let it self-prime. Okay, well, it's stalled. It did start. Okay, well, it appears I need to get the computer. Okay, we're back at the computer here. Alright, let's see. Fuel supply pump activation. Okay, I don't know what the camera's doing, but in here for the fuel pump activation, and it's running right now, which I can hear, but you probably can't. Should just be a few more seconds. Or not. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it off. All right, off. Now let's see if it'll start. Nope. Ooh, there we go. Now it's running. Okay, well, feels like it's still idling a little bit rough. I think it is improved. Let's see if it's still leaking. So, once again, I don't know if you can hear me, but it would appear, if you can see all the way in there, probably can't. You can see in there, it looks like it's not leaking anymore. Before, it was dripping pretty good from right where the wires come through underneath the pump. Okay, leak is fixed. I'm pretty sure camera's going to die here. Still running a little bit rough, but I think I need to clean the EGR now. So anyway, I think that's going to be a job done on the fuel pump.